Hi y'all, if you're looking for a legit place to get cheap MT, go to dvdj.com and use code Popboy for an extra 10% off. Alright y'all, you know what the deal is. I've been going in on the defensive settings. I'm just determined to get our AI teammates to act right on defense. And this is just episode 1, there'll be more coming, so subscribe, turn your notifications on, of course, if you haven't already. Because I don't care what it takes, we're going to clean up every single aspect in this series. Alright, but as for right now, we're going to start by cleaning up the biggest mess. And that would be, of course, help defense. And I had to go deep in my bag for this one. Alright, it took a lot. It took a lot of testing, a lot of repetition, multiple defensive settings, coaching sliders, points of emphasis. We'll get into all of it. Of course, we know nothing's ever 100% with 2K, but I'll tell you, they stick with me till the end of this video and we'll have everything related to help defense the best it can possibly be. So let's get going. First order of business, we want to come into our coach settings here and we want to turn ACE, the adaptive coaching engine. We want that off of our defense. You can put it on offense only, that's what I do, but we definitely don't want it on for defense because it's going to interfere with our custom settings. So no ACE for defense. Let's go to the defensive settings. We're not going to spend too much time on the settings that we don't want to use, like deny ball. Too often he'll just run off the face of the earth for no reason, letting his man just waltz right to the rim uncontested. And then we got leave him and gap. Now there's one exception we'll get into in a minute, but for the most part we're not going to use either of these. Mainly because, I don't know, it's like it makes them forget about the defensive 3-second rule. And too often they'll just stand there with both feet in the paint looking oblivious on this setting. I don't know. But in most cases it's just too much space anyway. So obviously we're doing custom settings here, so we're never going to put any of these on automatic. We don't want to leave the decisions up to the game. But the first thing we're going to do is put everybody on moderate off-ball pressure. Alright, now the next thing we want to do, we're going to put their best 3-point shooters on tight. And in this case, they got 3 guys with a 3-point rating in the 80s. They got another 2 with a 79 open 3 rating. So that's good. I'm going to put those 5 on tight. And you know what, real quick, just in case you're wondering, like if it's a guy who's got a really good mid, but he can't shoot from 3, like Kyle O'Quinn is a great example, I'm not going to put that type of player on tight. Because what we're really concerned about is penetration and great 3-point shooters being left alone all the way out there on the 3-point line. Right, so someone like Kyle O'Quinn, I don't give a shit, you got a good mid, bruh. I'm leaving you on moderate. I mentioned there's one exception for using gap, and that's right here. Okay, let's come back through the players, and what I'm doing is I'm looking for any perimeter player. That's important. Okay, if it's an interior player, we're going to leave him on whatever we already got him on based on his 3-point rating. So just perimeter players, we're just looking for guys who have a 3-ball rating in like the 60s or lower. And in this case, they got 2, Thibault and of course Ben Simmons. So both of them will go on gap. And we'll be able to see the difference. This one right here, I got him on moderate. And that's not the result we want. He can't shoot. We want to have him drop down more and cut off that driving lane more, help a little more. Right, so now you can see basically the same situation. I got him on gap now. But we can see him sagging down more there. And if he does kick it out to him, once again, we don't care. But you can see he's right there to stop the drive. So that's the only situation we're going to want to use gap. Perimeter player who can't shoot 3s. Alright, so that's good for off-ball pressure. Next thing we want to do, come down here to the help rules settings. Screen help rules, drive help rules. Now, first thing we want to do for both of these settings, we want to set everybody to help and no rotation. And then just like the off-ball pressure setting, we're going to go ahead and start to cycle through the players. And those same guys that we put on tight off-ball pressure, their best 5 or so 3-point shooters, we're going to also put those guys on no help for both these, screen help and drive help. Now, I want to make sure you guys see this here. It's really important. In the past, there's been some debate on these help rule settings. Can you actually set them to different things for different players? Does it actually make them behave differently? Can you actually determine who helps and who doesn't? And also, who is this setting referring to? Is it talking about the guy who's breaking free to the rim that we're going to go help to stop? Or is it referring to the guy who's standing out on the perimeter, the guy who we're either going to leave to go help or stay home on? I made sure to do extra testing on this exact thing. And I could tell you guys for sure, both these help rule settings are in fact player specific. Okay? And when we set them for an individual player, we're setting them for when that player is the guy we're guarding off of the ball. Okay? So it's the guy that we're deciding, are we going to leave him alone on the 3-point line to go help, or are we going to stay home on him? And I really think I have about 35 of these, but here's one good example to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so right here, I'm the Grizzlies, and I got John Collins set to help and no rotation. Okay, I got Jaren Jackson guarding him off the ball on the wing there. And we can see what he does when Len starts to break free to the rim. All right, so now in this next clip, everything's exactly the same. Same situation, all the exact same players in the exact same spots. So literally the only thing that's different now is we have John Collins set to no help. And once again, Alex Len breaking free to the rim. And would you look at that? And like I said, it's one example. I got about 35 of these. So I'm pretty sure I can confirm, this does work. It is worthwhile to set these help rule settings differently for different players. It is effective. And it doesn't matter who you're helping to. And it's not based on that. It's based on who you're going to leave to go help or stay home on and not help. Okay, we still got more to do. Let's move on. We're going to come up here and take care of this pre-rotate setting real quick. So the thing with this, it's really not necessary for us to put it on yes. And you know what? When I tested it, I found out that, the players listen to the off-ball pressure setting over this pre-rotate setting anyway. So we got our off-ball pressure settings. We got our guys doing, our off-ball defenders doing what we want them to do based on who they're guarding and where the ball is on the floor. That's enough. We can just leave this on no. Okay, so that is good for the defensive settings. But like I already told you, this video is packed full of shit. So next we're going to come over to coaching sliders and take a look at the top one, the help defense slider. So first, what does it do? You see the description at the bottom, sets how often players will help out others on defense. That's not exactly true. It really doesn't change who is going to help and when they help and how often they help. But what it does is it makes those who were going to help anyway, it makes them a little more proactive in their help. They anticipate better. So you see what I'm talking about? This is from when I had the help defense slider really low. And you can see he's going to help anyway. He's going to do it. But it's kind of apathetic. It's kind of like, meh, okay, I guess, kind of half-assed, a little late. Like he's not really fully committed to it. He doesn't anticipate it very well. But now check it out when I got the help defense slider up really high. Take a look at that difference. Look at that. The pass isn't even really fully made yet. Look at how good of a job he does at anticipating this. I mean, he's really paying attention. Like, he knows that it's his job to help, and he's looking for it. Now, of course, that's what we want. So the only thing to do with this slider is put it all the way up at 100. Okay, y'all, stay with me. We still got one more thing to get into. This is important. It's the points of emphasis settings in the timeout menus. So there's 3 of these that are really related to help defense. Those are ones we're going to get into. Those are ones I've tested a lot. First one is 4 out corners tight. Next one, stay home. And then the other one, no threes. So these 3, as it relates to help defense, let me tell you what I found out. The main thing is they do actually cancel out our defensive settings. Well, most of the time. I mean, this is 2K. We got to keep in mind it's not every time, but most of the time, the players are going to listen to that point of emphasis over the defensive settings that you have on. Okay, and this is a good clip. We can really see it happening. I got this defender on moderate off-ball pressure, but I set the point of emphasis on no threes. You can see he's not doing moderate off-ball pressure anymore. He's getting all up in him once that ball comes over to his side. And that's why I found this one to be the most useful. I like that they don't do it all the time. They just do it when, the ball is close, when they think that a pass might be made. But the other times they're going to obey their off-ball pressure setting. The other ones don't do that. So you have it on stay home. They're going to stay home on all the shooters on the perimeter all the time. You have it on the 4 out corners tight. Then they're going to be all tight. They're going to stay home on the guys in the corner all the time, no matter where the ball is. So the no threes one's a little different. It's got a little element of situational awareness. But regardless, it's really the same big takeaway I have with all 3 of them. The most important thing you want to keep in mind is that these point of emphasis settings, they can't be player specific. So we can use these situationally. They are effective. They do their job, but we got to be smart about it. We got to make sure the personnel is right. We don't want to end up in a situation like this. Like right here, I'm in 4 out corners tight, and they go and stick Alex Len in the corner. He's not a bad shooter, but I'm not worried about Alex Len killing me from 3. I'd rather have his guy help. So dumb move by me, but these are good if the shoe fits. All right, so now we got all of that working together, and it's beautiful. That's what it is. The right guys staying home, the right guys helping, the people who are supposed to be helping, doing it with good anticipation and doing it effectively. Everybody just knowing what they should do and doing it well and being smart. I mean, what an unbelievable change from when I first started testing this. Alright, y'all, I think we just cleaned that bitch up. That's everything you're going to want to do. I know it sounds like a lot, but trust me, once you get going and you get into a rhythm, you'll be able to identify who's who and what's what pretty quickly and easily. It's just getting used to it at first. Get on down in the comments. Just bring me anything you got. You know what to do. And pop that like button. I appreciate you guys. I love being able to improve the game, make it more enjoyable. I'm really grateful to be able to share that with y'all. So you know what it is. I'm jumping straight back into the lab. But I'll catch you right back here next time on the next edition of 2K with the Pop Boy.